Seventh grade, week 17, and we're talking about earthquakes. So, by the end of this lesson, you should be able to identify how quakes act along convergent plate boundaries. So, what damage is done to people's lives by earthquakes? Well, in large earthquakes, hundreds or thousands of people may actually die. Many more may lose their homes and their livelihoods. After a large earthquake, the world's attention turns to help the victims. But soon, there is another disaster in the news, and the world's attention turns. People may be left homeless due to an earthquake for many, many years. Earthquakes at convergent plate boundaries mark the location of subducting lithosphere. The motion of the lithosphere as it plunges through the mantle causes the quakes. At greater depths, the plate heats up enough to deform plastically. This is a cross-section of earthquake epicenters. The depth outlines the subducting plate. There are shallow, intermediate, and deep earthquakes. Convergent plate boundaries produce earthquakes most of the way around the Pacific Ocean basin. Earthquakes in Japan are caused by ocean-ocean convergence. In this part of the Pacific Ocean, oceanic crust subducts beneath oceanic crust. This creates as many as 1,500 earthquakes every year. In March 2011, the 9.0 magnitude Tohoku earthquake struck off of northeastern Japan. Damage from the quake was severe, but even more severe was the damage from the tsunami generated by the quake. A tsunami is an enormous ocean wave or set of waves generated by an underwater earthquake. In all, 25,000 people were known dead or missing. The damage in Miyako, Iwate, Japan, after a 9-point magnitude earthquake and the massive tsunami it generated struck in March 2011. That's the left-hand side of what's left of a city, the left-hand side of this picture. Destruction in Ofunatu, Japan, from the 2011 earthquake is seen here on the right-hand side. It's a little more detailed. And you can see that not only was everything destroyed from the shaking, but when the tsunami came through, it tore everything up and threw it wherever it would go. Ocean continent plates coming together are what we see in the Cascades. The Pacific Northwest of the United States is at risk from a potentially massive earthquake. The subduction of 3 small plates beneath the North American produces active volcanoes, the Cascades. The region also experiences earthquakes. However, large earthquakes only hit every 300 to 600 years. The last was in 1700. You do the math. That quake had an estimated multitude of around 9 on the Richter scale. A quake of that magnitude today would produce an incredible amount of destruction and untold fatalities. This is a highly populous area of North America. And like I said, the last quake was in 1700. Well, in 1700, there weren't a lot of people there. And now, in the 2020s, 2021, 2022, there are literally millions of people there. So the fatalities would be catastrophic, and this destruction in the multi-billions of dollars. There can also be 2 continents that clash. And the collision of 2 continents creates massive, massive earthquakes. Many earthquakes happen in the region in and around the Himalayan mountains. Here you see in India the results of an earthquake that happened in 2001. And it was responsible for about 20,000 deaths, with many, many, many more people that were injured and made homeless. Keep in mind that India is the second most populous country in the world. In summary, earthquakes occur all along the subducting plate as it plunges into the mantle. All three types of convergent plate boundaries produce massive earthquakes. Subduction zones around the Pacific Rim are responsible for many of the world's earthquakes. So, if you feel that you can explain how quakes act along convergent plate boundaries, feel free to go on to the questions. Otherwise, take a moment and go back to the video and take some notes, because you are welcome to use your notes when you answer those questions. You have a great day, and we'll talk to you later.